This podcast is free. Sit back and relax. This podcast is free. I ain't paying for that. This podcast is free. It's Derek and Steven picking topics out of a hat. I ain't paying for that. And now your hosts, Derek and Steven.
Hosts, Derek and Steven.
That's right.
I gotta get this
Remember
thing
to
the right spot.
subscribe, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Join the
Hurry up, Rachel.
what would we call our stupid you know how those
This
fucking
podcast
morons
is
call
free.
the morons call their fans or their members, they call them something like
We call them Freebirds.
no,
Remember, like and subscribe, Freebirds.
the freeloaders.
Freeloaders.
Hey out there, all you freeloaders, it is Freeloading Friday. That means we have lots of Ben & Jerry's to give away. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're level 2 or 3 of Patreon, you automatically get entered. If you're level 1, you have to do it automatically through the website. That's how I feel when they do that shit.
I mean, I get it. Everybody's trying to make money. That's the goal.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
But it's like natural steps. Why can't somebody just break the natural steps?
The natural
What-
steps.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I got a podcast. Okay, now I got subscribers. I'm going to tell more people to subscribe and like the content. Oh, well, now that I've got so many subscribers, now I'm ready to go to the members only portion. So you get exclusive content. And you get to watch it 18 seconds before everybody else does.
It's dumb.
You know,
Breaking Points does that, the news channel that I watch, and
Yeah.
and it aggravates the piss. You know what? It's funny that you even mentioned that because now I've noticed it in the past 2 months. Every fucking Breaking Points video I watch, it's whatever it's titled. You know, I'm going there for that very reason, and it's between 3 and 5 minutes of them talking about every other story for the day. Okay, we're gonna, later on the block, we're gonna cover Iran, and I usually hit the button when they start the actual fucking story. And this morning, it was 5 minutes of
just bullshit.
just bullshit, and it's like, okay, cool. Now tell me about Gaza. Like,
Well, I mean, with this podcast, it's just straight bullshit all the time.
neither entertaining nor
funny.
informative.
Or funny.
Or oh yeah, fun. No, what was it?
Interesting or funny.
Oh, neither interesting or funny.
Funny.
Don't really give a shit.
I don't remember that guy's name now. You knew it for a little while.
Flavio or something like that.
feel
So
like-
yeah, old Joe Budden's got cancer.
Yeah, I heard that. I mean, they were going to kill him somehow, so I guess they're going with it a more appropriate way.
Well, now they're all going because I think in the long run, had nothing happened, Joe could have just sailed off into the sunset and done like George W. Show up at
Yeah, whatever happened to that
show
guy?
up at charity events, real
Or at the ball game.
Yeah, just like, a jovial
Howdy.
idiot. And he could have done that. But now, with this whole prostate thing, dude, these news outlets are going in on him because of what would have happened had he gotten elected. And all the cover up. And now they're all hunting down stories of like the proven cover up that was already planned.
Well, yeah,
for if he got
because there was
elected.
somebody on CNN the other day, a doctor talking about how, like, well, this is not the type of prostate cancer you get in a couple of days or a couple of months. He's like, he's had to have this for like a year or two.
Yeah.
This is not a 100-day thing that develops. He was like, he's at the stage where he's had this, so he would have had a medical review or his crap,
Yeah. Or like
back
the
when he was
yearly
president. So they knew
yearly
he had
presidential
prostate cancer.
physical. Yeah.
They knew he had prostate cancer back then, so there's part of that cover up or whatever you want to talk about.
So yeah, like I said, he could have sailed off into the sunset had nothing happened. But now that something has happened, I fear he's going to have more than prostate
the
troubles.
prostate cancer is going to be the scapegoat for the. Well, this is why, his cognitive ability wasn't great or anything like that.
Yeah, well, but
That's what I think anyway.
I think, but still, the common sense answer pokes out immediately. Okay, so why were you fucking president?
Well, yeah.
Obviously, not because they talk about that term a lot. You were not fit. You might have
Right.
been mentally fit. I personally don't think you were, but let's just give you the benefit of the doubt and say you were mentally fit. You were not physically fit
Right.
for the job that probably constantly gets woken up with things all the time,
Yeah.
early in the morning before you would normally get up,
Yeah, I mean that's a 12-hour a day job. Easy.
if not maybe
yeah.
more.
Yeah, sure.
You know, maybe more.
Yeah.
Think about, you know, like back in the days of 9/11, George W. Like, think about the hours he was pulling during like the height of all that. That was,
I don't know.
You know.
I still think he had something to do with it.
well, I'm just that aside. No, nobody cares. I'm just saying.
Everybody
like, think
really
about
cares.
think about like what he probably all those people. They were probably pulling 16-hour shifts.
Oh, sure.
You know.
How'd you like to be the handlers? You got to be up before he's up, and you got to go to bed after he goes to bed. Yeah, no,
You're
getting
not
like-
going home.
Yeah, you're getting like 4
You're
hours
sleeping
of sleep,
in like
maybe.
the little
You're
hide
lucky.
hide quarters they have in the
Yeah.
back of the White House. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, this is
When
what-
he's at the press conference, you're in the back taking a nap real quick. That's what it is. I don't know. There's just not enough money for that kind of crap.
No, I always think about the event that you and I worked. I'm not going to mention any names or company names, but I remember the conversation about, oh yeah, you see that VP guy over there? Yeah, he's already had 2 heart attacks or what it was.
Oh yeah.
And I was just thinking, and you could see it in his mannerisms, in the
It's like, what are you working so hard for?
the immediacy of everything he had to do while that president was standing next
Right,
to
yeah,
him.
yeah.
You know, and it's like, is that worth the $340,000 or whatever they're
Whatever
paying?
you're
Which
making,
is
yeah.
probably wonderful money. Is
Yeah.
that your
But
what
if you're working 12 hours a day for 50 years,
You
it's
said
like,
he was like 40 something, like not late 40s, but like
You know, I think he was like late 40s. He was
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
already too.
He wasn't even making that kind of money though.
Oh really?
Yeah, he wasn't a VP guy. He was like the handler guy that puts all the crap together or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, he's probably making $120 or $150, killing himself over it.
Literally.
Yeah, no, that's. I'm telling you, man. People get on that corporate America train, which is, you know, to me, everyone talks about like the American dream, if you will. You know, owning a home. That's kind of like a big thing and all this stuff. And that's great and all, but they've made it to where, oh, well, you can own a home, but it's going to take you 30 plus years to own a home. Maybe 50 because you may have to refinance it for whatever medical thing or college thing or whatever you got to do for your kids. You know, so you got that going on. And then there's, you know, and then it's like, oh, well, you want the corporate America thing and you get your good job and you work really hard. Like that was when my grandmother was coming up.
Yeah.
Like she worked hard. She retired at like what 50, 55 with a pension or benefits that paid her until she died, which is no longer anymore. You know, and she didn't have like a big ritzy home. It was back then it cost $20,000 and they paid 15% interest on it.
Yeah.
And it took them, you know, 15 years to pay it off or 20 years, whatever it was. It was paid off. They were still working. You know, there was. Now the shit is all so expensive. You got to have a job that pays you $300,000 a year just to be middle class.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
It's
I
like-
used to not give a crap when people would talk about the wealth gap, but it has become so wide now that you can't ignore it.
Right.
Like it's very clear.
Well, you got a TikToker that's making $300,000 a month or whatever the hell it is. You know, that's $4 million a year roughly. You know, I mean that's big money.
Well, but
And then what do you do with that money? Like,
that's the problem is I don't understand.
why can't people just be happy with?
Well, I think we can say that because we can say that because we're poor. It would be the same argument as, you know, if you knew something about if you were on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Because a rich person would say, well, you just can't say that because you just don't make that much money. You don't know what goes into, and it's like, okay, that argument aside, the older we get, I don't understand this fascination with money. I don't.
No,
I
don't.
don't.
either.
I really don't. And like, I don't mean like I want to save, because there are things I want to save up and get myself,
Yeah.
and there are trips we want to take. I don't mean that. I mean like the acquisition, and then more, and then stack it on top of,
Right.
built into a cabinet of, encased in a box of wealth, built under
Right.
a warehouse
to me,
of
so,
wealth.
So
and it's
for
like,
what? So your kids and your grandkids don't have to do anything, or they get a head start, and then they're a little prick snob that had everything handed to them, and then, I mean, there's all those different scenarios. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's
So yeah, like there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Oh, I know.
You know.
Somebody worked really hard to do something, but that's my point, is that everybody's working hard for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean?
I notice
make
it.
sense?
I notice it a lot. I'm having struggles with this right now
Tell me your struggles.
because we were just talking about it off
I
camera.
feel like you're not even quite in camera. I just like
I mean, I probably am cut off a little bit over here, but it's not. It's not. Nobody cares.
I know. Well, I care.
But we were talking about it before we started.
I feel like
that,
this
you know,
mic is sinking. I can't really tell though.
I don't know.
I'm gonna try it again.
But yeah, we were talking about it before we started, and I do feel like it is that way with music. Like, I'm going to be transferring completely from one instrument, being drums, which is my primary of 20. God, how old am I now? Of like 25 fucking years professionally, because I physically
Man, you're
don't
really old.
want to do. I know, I don't want to do it. So picking up a completely new instrument, I get that perspective of it because I don't know anything. I don't know what not to look at, so I notice everything. And what I've noticed is nobody learns their fucking instrument anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Like, nobody. They want to learn that Billie Eilish song, and then they're done. There's a guy that plays with us on the juke on Sunday, and he doesn't claim to be a singer, but he sings fine enough for the juke
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
But he's been coming for a year now, and he plays Hound Dog, and then he plays some like punk song. Hey, oh, let's go. Hey, oh, da-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
And then he plays that song from the 90s, like being low. Hey, 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 like being low. Something
I
like
don't
that.
remember that one.
But anyway, he's been playing those same 3 songs for a year.
Like every time he comes, that's the only
Every
songs he plays.
time he comes, that's it.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm sitting there going, as a person who it takes him a moment to grab that C chord or that G chord, and he can actually play it. I'm like, you won't just go learn another song.
yeah.
Or
There's a lot of-
is it
there's a lot of
what I
songs.
come to find out really what it is later? He doesn't know how to play any other fucking chords.
I remember there was a book we had at Pinkston's, and it was like I think 100 songs on G, C, and D.
Yeah. There's this moron. God love him. He's like super Christian, and I'm sure he's probably a nice guy. But he sets the worst example. I'm on me. He sets the worst example
Need a
on
little me
YouTube.
time.
He teaches you how to play every song in that cheater position.
Yeah.
That one, where the G,
Uh-huh.
the C, and the D.
Yeah.
He'll teach you how to play every fucking. And if it won't, he'll figure out something in that position, and like hit a shit like half chord. It's terrible.
Oh.
And he can't. Like, his videos are like at least 10 years old on YouTube. And then I saw one the other day where he was talking about something. He goes, "Oh wait, I don't even know how to do that." And I was like, "How are you a guitar player, quote unquote, with thousands of subscribers on YouTube?
Yeah.
You make money from this shit. You claim to be able to help people play guitar, and then you get to whatever it was, and he's like, 'Oh, I can't do that.'" And I was like, "How can you not do that?"
Yeah.
You know,
You know, Rick Beato just had something about some guy that he had on his.
Oh, the faker guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
never
he
saw
didn't
him.
play. He didn't ever aired his video because he said he couldn't do in the studio what he did in his videos.
I never saw something Mancuso.
I don't know.
Anyway, it
guys.
doesn't matter because I never watched. I never
Scott
saw.
had put something on Facebook about it.
I never saw that guy's videos because he was
Me
on.
either.
He was on Charles Bertude, which is the badass YouTube-based kid.
Oh, okay. I don't
Had him
know.
on his channel. He was also on somebody else that has a big old music channel on YouTube. Not Rick, but somebody like that. I think it was a good. Oh, was it? It might have been Corey Wong. the
know who
guitar
that
player
is.
from Wolfpack. But anyway, so multiple people.
I don't know who these people are.
Multiple people had him featured on their show, and then I saw the Rick. So I just never. I didn't have any context. Like, well, that's fucked up, and it's really shitty that he's taking old tracks from other people's YouTube videos and
Right.
playing them, but not really playing them.
Right.
You know, so
Well, I mean, he took a formula and he ran with it, and it was easy for him to do because he was faking it, and he got a bunch of views, and he probably made some money.
I just don't.
I mean, how many people are like that on YouTube?
oh,
I mean, you're not
that's-
just going to
that's
get
what
like real
YouTube is.
content like this.
That's what YouTube is, and it's. I think it's what it's not. Maybe it's not what YouTube is, but it's showing you what it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's very YouTube is
Well,
very
that's all-
clearly been like, this is what we want.
Well, I was watching some girl who I've never heard of, and she's on somebody's podcast I've never heard of, and she's talking about, well, if I had to do this again, she makes $100,000 a month or whatever it is off of whatever product she's peddling or whatever, I don't know. And she's like, well, if I had to do it over again, I would find my niche of something that they need to have this, and I would do X amount of videos every week, and I would post them at this time, and I would do this, and I'd have that content coming out, and then I would, once I got my subscribers that I wanted to hit, then I would go right into partnering with all the brands
Yeah.
that I want to do. Like, she had it all outlined of what to do, and I'm just like,
Well, it's become such a clear career path
Yeah.
because it's so young.
Yeah.
We're still in the Wild West days of YouTube.
I don't, yeah, I mean, you're probably right.
in
but
the
it doesn't feel
in
like
the
the Wild
macro.
Wild West.
In the macro, it is. I mean, if you really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're still we'd be in when did the television come out? 40s, 50s?
50s
50s probably. So
Yeah.
we're probably in the YouTube, we're in 1960s. as
Yeah,
far as
because I
the
mean,
television
YouTube is
concerned.
really, if you think about it, YouTube, as far as like being used massively,
Yeah.
is 2010.
Yeah,
So we really are like,
yeah. We're only in the 60s
yeah,
as
it's
far as
not,
the TV is concerned or whatever.
and everybody's still trying to figure
And
out.
TV probably had its heyday in the 80s.
Yeah, 80s,
80s,
90s.
90s.
And and everybody's still trying to just figure this. I mean, look at us. We're just sitting here with no clear plan,
No.
and you can still do that.
Right.
Because again,
Well, we
it's-
can do it, but we're not doing ourselves any favor by getting any more views or all that stuff. I mean, like, if we actually sit there and we work at it, and if we cut this down to 10 minutes, we talk about 3 specific things,
Yeah.
and we harp on it real quick, and we cut enough reels that'll last us till the next, like, we could put out 4 reels a week,
Yeah.
that you're pumping out about the next episode. We're going to talk about this, and that. I mean, if we just buckled down and did that for, like you always say, like a year to 3 years straight, you put out so much content that the algorithm picks you up because you're doing what it wants you to do. Oh, well, they've been
there.
6 months and they've
Yeah.
been putting out 4
They're
reels a
there.
week, and I'm going to start throwing more content to other people, and that's just is what it is. I mean, there's a literal science behind it. It's
Oh
not-
no, and it's funny.
it's just, are you willing
well, that's always the
to
question.
do it?
How much you willing to invest?
Right.
And it for us, because of our age, it just becomes
Right.
well, there's really just not.
I
enough,
feel like if I
there's
could
not
get
enough
to
hours
a
in the
spot
day.
where a lot of my shit was paid off and I didn't have to work so much, I would do more of it. Like, I would dedicate more time to it. But also, editing video is my worst.
It takes so long.
Yeah.
It's not.
Although I know if this is definitely, it's got to be syncing because I feel like I keep doing this. Like, here, I'm going to start here and let's see where. All right, you see where it's at? Let's see where it ends up at here in a minute.
All right.
I know, keep looking at it, but it's moving.
Now I'm
so
just gonna
slow.
like stare at it. That'll be like the next. Oh, I can see it. It's visibly moving.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's going down.
Yeah, I see it.
But yeah, it's always about how
it's tight as
intentional,
it'll go.
and that's. I'll be honest. That's my focus right now. There's my intention. I ghost Phil. I ghost Jeff all the time because they're like, "Hey man, come blah blah blah." I'm like, "Nope, practicing. Sorry." Oh
Yeah.
come on, man. There's 4 of us up here playing drums. I don't fucking care. I'm practicing. I'm not.
Right.
I've heard too many people talk about sometimes the downside of doing something like this is you might be ignoring some people for no other reason. It's like, I'm sorry, man, I'm busy. I
Yeah.
don't have time.
Oh, that's
To screw around.
landscape photographer that I really like, and I think he lives in Ireland. I'm not sure. He's like Swedish, but he lives in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he beautiful photography, but he catches the moment, and he talks about it in a little video. He's like, "Look, when everybody else is at the pub having a pint. And he's
Yep.
like, and I want to hang out with him. He's like, I'm not there. I'm out there. I'm waiting for the right moment for the wave to crash the
Yep.
right way. I want to see it with the sun and the colors, and I take this picture, and then I go sell a bunch of them on my web store.
I've done it more recently with.
And I've-
I would love to be sitting there in the Cav Brawler, driving around in Battlefield, killing motherfuckers left and right. But what I should be doing is 50 BPM running. That's I was listening to Tim Pierce, like a big time studio guitarist, like on all these records and blah blah blah, and he was talking about that, and he's like, he kind of put that idea in my head. He's like, number one, you have to be super intentional about it, like very, and he's like, also you have to realize it's going to be like 3 to 5 years with no payoff. He's like, that's the investment, and I had to literally sit there and think to myself like, I have 3 to 5 years. Which is fine. I'm already playing. I don't need a payoff.
Yeah.
I don't need anything now. I'd rather it pay off as in like, what does your gear loadout look like now? Well, that little cart with an amp and a guitar on it and a little pedal bag, as opposed to 3 to 4 trips, even with the cart,
Yeah.
of mild sweat before I've even sat down. Like I just can't. I
Yeah.
can't do that. And he, like I said, he put that in my head, like super intentional about it. And then, like, again, you're online. And I'm just like, nope, sit down. Not to say that I don't play, because I still will. But where I would normally start at 10:30 p.m.
Yeah.
and, 1:30.
And I keep telling myself, like, there's all these songs I've always wanted to learn. It's just you.
Oh,
I'm selfish. There's like I keep wanting to just sit down and learn a bunch of tunes I've never learned. Like as long as I've played guitar, there's so many tunes that I would just love to just jump in and jam with people, but I don't know what the song is. Like I could fake my way through it, but I would like to learn the song.
Yeah.
Like I would like to learn Don't Stop Believing. I've just never, because I always played with Sarah and she always did it her way.
yeah.
And she never really learned the tune. So I'd follow her. And after I played it once with her, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it figured out. But I still don't know the part, and I just kind of hate all that. And I'd really like to learn some of that Django Reinhardt stuff. That really interests me. But it's just like, I also look at it like, I know all the work I put in when I was 15 and 16. And I'm just like, I don't know if I
Yeah,
wanna
but
do all that.
it's not the same, though. You already know how to play.
I do, but it's also
So you can get away
It's
with
different because I didn't learn a lot of songs. I learned a lot of scales and exercises, and that's kind of how I approach things.
But that's the fundamentals. That's what you
no,
need.
yeah, but it's like to learn certain licks, you got to kind of those people weren't
True, yeah,
weren't
they're
really
not.
trained,
Yeah,
so
you're
it's
right.
it's a little foreign to me. So I get frustrated more easily because I don't do it as quick as I'd like to. Because I just don't practice anymore. But trying to do all that, it gets aggravating. So I look at it and I'm like,
Well, then all that means is you need to start off like if I was doing that with any other thing, it could be anything in this stupid room. Then that means you need to go home tonight in 10 minutes, play scales,
yeah,
and then tomorrow night, play 10 minutes of scales, and then next week maybe you do 5 minutes of scales, and you played songs for 10 minutes.
yeah,
Before you knew it, you'd be warm again.
yeah.
And then you'd probably be plowing through that shit. Like, no problem.
Yeah, but the problem with songs for me is I've got to play them over and over again because I will forget them because if I'm not gigging and I'm not playing the song.
Well, I get it. There is
You
a
know,
difference when you're not getting
like,
it.
yeah, if I just learn the tune, picking up a tune's relatively
Yeah,
easy.
you're right.
I mean, I get the picking pattern
Making
right,
it gig
but
ready.
finding making it gig ready and knowing the crap, it's different.
Hey, man,
than-
every Sunday we're there. You can come out with your rig. And
and I did have a really good time, even though I was pretty drunk. Just hopping up there and just noodling for a minute. It was a lot of fun.
we're always there.
Yeah, I know, but I don't
Every
know.
Sunday night, ladies and gentlemen.
I hear watching
Juke Joint, Ocean Springs, Mississippi, from 11 to 3. You can sing, you can play, or you can be like some people and just get up there and literally stand behind the mic and not make a noise.
Yeah, make a fool of yourself.
Some of them don't even one girl just,
Just wants to be up there.
we were just like, 2, 3, 4. Like, all right. So we just finished the song, and then it's like, okay, cool, next. Like,
wow.
yeah, it's makes me feel good about myself a lot. Like sitting in that juke joint makes me feel good about myself a lot on guitar. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
More than 86% of y'all are terrible.
Yeah.
So
And there's some songs I've always wanted to just learn and sing and play, and
it's fun. I mean, I could have swore this is why we started doing this in the first place, is we all enjoyed it. Somehow along the way, that usually gets lost.
Right.
Where it's like, well, yeah, but we got to be in Choctaw at 5:30 for load, and Dakota's going to pick me up, and then but Derek's got to go meet Rock at Ingalls, and it's
Yeah.
like, then you forget that like it's called playing for a reason. It's why they choose that word when they describe what being with an instrument. It's called playing. You're supposed to be having fun. We're supposed to be, and that does get lost a lot. So being at the juke joint at least kind of keeps that, because I'm not good at improv anymore. It's not my thing anymore. It's been years since I've done that type of playing. Now mine is all, what the song is.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a perfect run.
Yeah.
I'm literally playing like a dumb song that is not hard to play. Give me one reason. And then going, can you do a perfect run? Not one little, even like, not the mistakes that they notice, the mistakes that I notice.
Yeah.
That nobody hears. It's like, I'm playing a game with myself at this point where it's like, can I just do a perfect run? Okay, you did it. Cool. And a week later, all right, do it again, but rush it. Or whatever Dakota and me decide to do that night.
Yeah.
Drag the shit out of it, swing it,
Yeah.
that it becomes unartistic.
Yeah.
It becomes
Well, because you're playing
numbers.
someone else's stuff.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, as far as like mine and Dakota's relationship, it becomes a numbers game for us because we get bored. So it's not like, what? Give me one reason to stay here. So 1, 2,
See,
3, 4. Me and Dakota are thinking like E and like, where can we stuff a note?
Well, see, and that's to me. Even if I was doing it, I'd probably be okay doing a cover gig for a few years, but immediately I'd be like, we're at a local place and we're doing the normal gig. I'd be like, oh well, let's just play something funky and eat for.
And we've
You
done
know,
we don't do that anymore because we hardly ever get those gigs. We're always at a casino but like if it
Right.
avails
Well,
itself.
You'd be surprised what you can get away at a casino. Look, for as long as Sarah and I played at the 875,
Yeah, but Sarah got away with a lot.
she still does.
A lot. Like Sarah got away with a lot.
She's the only person I know that would get away with that, though.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is on time. We're doing the gig. We're nailing these songs. We got a set list, and she
can
like,
talk.
Here's my phone. Pick a song. Like, what do you want to start with?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to pick. That's your job. Pick the song.
Your name
no.
is on your picture is on the poster. This
Either
is-
that, I know. Or she's like, hey, I think I'm going to try this song tonight. I'm like, okay, what key's it in?
I don't know.
Yeah, and she's like, I think it's an E. Here we go. I'm going to try it. And I'm just like, okay.
I think it's an E.
But she's, even with hitting the wrong notes, I mean, I can't tell you how many people be like, oh my God, it's amazing. I'm like, bro, we just botched this song.
You reminded me. I'm not joking. It did not hurt my feelings. I'm not sad about it. I'm not angry about it. It was pure hilarity to me and Dakota. Matt didn't get it. So we were at the Hard Rock Casino doing my gig like I do. And we took the first break, and somebody came up to us while we were standing there. And we were talking, and Elena, is the lead singer, is standing right there. Her dad walks up. And she had graduated college Friday from LSU.
Oh, well.
So they all came out to the gig. What a shitty college graduation night. What are you going to do? You gonna go fuck a party, man, do some Quaaludes,
Now I
eat some
gotta work.
pussy? No, I got to go to the Hard Rock and be load in at 7. So all her family files over from Baton Rouge. So anyway,
you know she's dedicated.
yeah. So we're all there, and
There's
we're
a story there.
standing. It's Matthew, Dakota, and me, right where I'm standing. And Elena's right there, and her dad walks up, and so she goes to do the introductions. And I'm dead. I'm quoting. I'm pretty much quoting, not paraphrasing here. Hi, Dad, this is Matt, the greatest guitar player I've ever seen. She probably meant like locally,
Yeah,
like playing. And I'm like, okay, I don't, whatever. Dad, this is Dakota. He's a bass player. So like the joke is already kind of kicked in
Yeah.
because it's the words, not
Yeah.
he's the bass player. He's my bass player. He's a bass player. So he's just a bass. Matt is the greatest guitar player I've ever worked with.
God.
Dakota is a bass player. That bottom tier. You ready? Drums. Big old me. What do you think? She said
Oh, she's got to be my drummer. I don't know.
less.
Les. A.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and correct you. Less.
Les.
Oh, no, let me correct you again. From where you're thinking right now, less.
Really?
Nothing. Nothing.
This is Steve.
Nothing. Nothing. About 20 seconds go by, and Dakota's looking at me, and I'm kind of laughing at him, and she goes, "Oh, this is Steven." It went from greatest guitar player I've ever worked
Well,
with
you're the grumpy
to
old man that she
a
likes
bass
is what it
player
is,
to
huh?
just
Steve.
no.
Nothing.
I'm counting the 20 seconds before. Just
Flatlined.
oh, this is Steven. I was like, you and again, I'm not mad. I thought it was funny as shit. And in my mind and my heart simultaneously, I just like, you just summed up my career, my musical career in a 3-line sentence or a 3-line phrase. You just did, because that's literally how it is for me. I've heard compliments given to Matt, and it's always something in the neighborhood of, you are the greatest, whatever.
You're the greatest cover guitar player I've seen.
Great. Dakota, same thing. And Lesser, you're a great bass player. Oh, man, y'all are grooving. You are one of the best. Great. Yeah. I'll tell you this. You know what the last compliment I got on drums was? It was not too long ago. It was maybe like 4 or 5 months ago at AJ's in Destin. And we had finished the first set, and the guy comes up to me. He's like, "Man, you are fucking killing it on the drums." And of course, I'm like, "Hey, man, I appreciate that. You're having fun. We're having fun.
Yeah.
The more you have fun, the more we have fun, the more of that you get."
Yeah.
And and I'm thinking in those terms of like the compliment. So I'm thinking he's gonna say whatever. Well, you just look like a goddamn dad walking up there. I figured you got some kids behind, and I was like, what? Nobody would expect you to play like that. And then you just come out with it, and I was like, thank you. I think.
I guess it's your grumpy old man demeanor that you bring with you.
I don't know. Where's my camera?
That shit is funny.
I don't know why you're married to me. I really don't know.
Well,
Let's show the receding hairline. I don't know why you're married to me at all.
Well,
Good luck.
Then you should be thankful. You have a lot to be thankful for.
I am. I promise. I promise. I am.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and Dakota said something to me the other day. He was like, he looked at me, and just all of a sudden he was like, "You've changed." I was like, "I have." It was very intentional. I promise. Like it really was. It really was intentional.
What did you?
Well, he just means everything. Like
Oh.
the switching of the instruments. You know, I don't want to talk to anybody anymore.
Well,
You know, the dressing like a dad because I just
Yeah.
don't. It's like, yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm very comfortable in my, and that's why I can comfortably say I would like my career as a professional drummer to end in 5 years, because I have literally accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish.
Right.
I never wanted to be a rock star, like as in like I never wanted to be in an original band and be famous. That was not my thing. It was never my thing. I never wanted to be
The
like,
money'd be nice.
huh?
The money.
Well,
would
yeah,
be
but I'm
nice.
just saying, like, as far as what the kid in you
Yeah.
tells you to do, it was never about chops. I never wanted to be the chopper.
Yeah.
I
Me
just
either.
wanted to be like, to be honest with you,
I wanted to be able to do some things that I never. I was not willing to work hard enough to do the certain things I really kind of wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was okay with it.
well, that's the folly of youth. Now,
Yeah.
now you could do that very easily. But all I ever wanted to do was somebody just to call me a player. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And I definitely accomplished
Yeah.
that. I feel very comfortable in like, no, I'm a player. I back you up. That's my job. I know how to play. I know
Right.
how to play songs. I spent
Yeah.
25 years learning how to play songs. It wasn't really learning how to play drums, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that's because it's drums. It may be different with a melodic instrument, but with drums, it's like, for me, no, you were just learning how to play songs. That's all it is. Just
Yeah.
learning how to play a song. And it's not just, that's not the same thing. And I've been lucky because I've had Dakota, Noonan, Matt. Like, I've always, but you, what was the other guy's name? I forget. I feel so bad. From Rochambeau,
The drummer?
guitar player.
Oh, Gary?
No,
Oh, Rochambeau.
big tall hippie motherfucker.
Oh, Guy.
I've always been surrounded by good guitar players.
Yeah.
Always. And no offense to guitar players, because at least up until the point where I took up guitar, I didn't have much of a good opinion of guitar players. I don't like guitar players.
Oh, that's fine. I
So
don't like most
guitar
of them
players
anyway.
aside, I've had the two
Most of
best
them are
bass
pricks.
players you can play with here,
Yeah, I'd agree.
like in their respective
I always
generations.
felt like I got lucky as a guitar player playing with drummers.
Yeah, because you had Eric, you had
As much as I love Eric, I love him to death. Eric was for the style of music, he was good on certain particular styles of music. But like if you just wanted like a 4/4 rock or whatever,
Pocket.
Eric was not your guy for that. He was too into the world music thing. But he did his own thing, and Eric fit in for certain things.
well, he had the little hat, the little Sherpa hat.
But I mean, I felt like I've got the opportunity to play with so many good drummers. But my brother was a drummer growing up,
Yeah.
and I was always the hardest with Sarah on drummers because I was like, if the drums ain't right, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, no, drum
That's
and
how
bass.
I've always felt.
Drum and bass have to be.
I don't
correct.
have to do anything.
Yeah, you
know.
don't. Like it's
And I mean-
that was the biggest thing for learning guitar.
Somebody, the bass player and the drummer, one of those two needs to be an anchor and have
to.
it right.
It really is both.
You can deal with a half-ass drummer if your bass player is pretty good.
Yeah.
You can deal with a half-ass bass player if your drummer's really good. They can usually work it out to where, hey, we're okay.
Yeah,
But the rest of it's icing on the cake.
pretty much.
I mean, that's
'Cause
how
that's
I've
one
always
thing I
felt about
didn't notice when I started learning guitar was like, oh, you can just stop. You can just stop. You can just stop playing if you want to. You play electric guitar, you can just stop,
Yeah.
sing a couple words, start playing again.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that
Uh-uh.
unless there is a mandatory stopping the song. No, I like now I watch because I'm just like, well, that's not fair. We're over here like, nope, can't stop, won't stop.
Right.
Fucking guitar players,
Yeah,
God.
no,
But yeah,
I'm with
you
you.
are you had because you had, like I said, you had Eric. I'm just going down the list. Eric, Pat, Richie.
If you remember
Kip, black guy from New Orleans.
I don't remember his name.
Well, you know, Sarah's drummer.
Well, no, I don't
Eric.
know. Yeah, Eric. I played with we played with Boomer for a while.
Yeah.
We
Both sides.
had what was his name? He's in Washington now. He was at Pinkston's for a while. It's going blank on me right now. Shoot. Dadgum. He was a metal drummer. And I've never, at least as far as Sarah is concerned, we've never had a drummer work so hard to learn her tunes.
Oh, the white kid.
verbatim, yeah.
He was annoying.
He was.
He was fucking
I know
annoying.
what you're talking about. But he was so into metal for him to go into like a pocket groove, even though he played the part
Yeah.
verbatim. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that is the exact part. It just still didn't. It didn't
It
have
never-
the right feel. in it.
Well, that's some of them. I don't know. Some of them get it, and some
See,
of
but
them
when
don't.
you say
not
that,
everybody
you
is handed
can't leave yourself out of that group of people,
of what.
the drummers, because Sarah, all the majority of them, always like, oh, let's get Nelson to come. Oh.
We always had the greatest time, man. Those gigs.
But, well,
those
the
gigs,
way you play, the way I play, and the way she played, we all
it
played
just
very
has to
similar.
fit. Well, it just has to
It
fit.
worked, yeah.
And sometimes it just doesn't. There's a guy from around here. I'm not gonna say his name. He's a guitar player, and he always comes up to the juke. You'd know it if I say his name. He always wants to play, and I don't have the heart to tell him like, man, your feel is just shit. You can technically play the guitar and you can sing a song and you're in key and
Yeah.
but your feel is shit. Like I
Yeah.
can't play with, and that's what you're saying. Like I can play with Sarah, I can play with you. Some people you just, I mean, you can play with them and it
Right.
will
They
sound
just
like
don't have
1,
a
2,
feel,
3,
yeah.
4. It won't sound very,
Yeah.
you know. And some people are sadly given feel, and some people are not. You know,
Yeah.
not, and
No,
not
no, I'm
everybody
with
is
you.
handed feel,
I'm with you.
and it's and I constantly, but I've been lucky, like you. The people I work with,
Yeah, and I feel fortunate I was able to. I think I did well with drummers and bass players because, other than one or two bands, I always listened. I wasn't the guitar player. I was never the guitar player to crank up real loud and just play solos. Like I kind of wanted to be part of the rhythm section because I like being part of a group that
Yeah.
we're all doing the same thing for a greater good, if you will. you
Yeah.
know.
A point.
Yeah, like we're playing a song. I want to play the song, and like I want to be kind of. I like being in the
Grooving.
groove and jamming. You know, that was my thing. You know, I think that's what Sarah always liked me playing because now the guitar players she has, they're solo players. They're
who is their guitar player now?
some dreadheaded dude out of New Orleans.
Yeah, but like you said, a soloist.
Yeah, and I watch him play, and he's a good guitar player, and it works.
Yeah,
It's not my cup of tea, like what
Yeah.
he does, you know. But it's just, to me, it's when somebody's singing. If you're playing a guitar part during that time, it's
No.
fine. But if you're just noodling while somebody's
No,
singing,
you're not.
that,
It's
that-
from I guess
I'm like already, you suck.
from a lead point.
You
yeah, like
suck.
a lead
You don't know
standpoint.
what you're
That's the
doing.
number one rule. You
I know.
don't play. I don't do.
Like,
It's the same
if-
thing for me. I would never play a drum fill while you were in a verse.
Right.
You might get a splash or a crash
to
accent,
accent, yes.
or to something to hammer the one, but you'd never hear me do.
Yeah, or the lyric is knock on the door and you go dap dap dap. You know.
Yeah,
or
no.
whatever.
I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's in place.
and you're
is
yeah,
what it's
you're not supposed to be. It's and you know what's very I'm very intentional about with Matt. You know, at least for the first 4 bars of any solo he ever gets, I go to straight whatever, eighth notes, quarter notes, and I just play. So he can set himself up and get comfortable, and then on the back 4 or the back 8, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, rock and roll, you know, whatever. Let's stare at me, sexy, whatever. Do your thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I always try to give him the first, maybe not even 4,
Yeah.
just 2 bars of just like, here you go.
Yeah, you will lose more respect for me because if someone took the time to write a song, learn to just play the song.
Yeah.
I'm okay if you don't play it right, but try to.
Or if you were to say, I can't,
Just let
I
it breathe a
can't
little
play that. Like, do the best you can.
yeah,
You
Or
can't.
if you can't do certain things, just play real simple.
Yeah.
Simple always works.
We did it at we were at Island View, and the joke has always been like when it comes to, again, give me one reason, how you gonna play it tonight?
Right.
Funky, straight, swung, drug, whatever.
Yeah.
So one night we were playing it like kind of funky, and it sounded really good because like
Yeah.
you just know, you're like, oh, this is a good little groove.
Kind of, yeah.
And the people are dancing and they're having a good time. And then Dakota looked at me, or I looked at Dakota, and he just went, go straight, just go straight. So we both went to like, you know, kick and snare and kick and snare, and he's going dong, 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 yeah, coming from dong, but now he's just going dong, dong, dong. The dance floor filled up immediately.
With the
Like it
straight,
went from like 8 or 9 people dancing to our great groove.
Yeah.
Like any musician would have been like, man, y'all sound really good right now. To like the dumbest elementary shit you've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then like it just went, whoosh, and it was like, he looked at me and I looked at him. I was like, wow. And we do it all the time now. Like if we get into a nice little groove.
and nobody's dancing.
Well, no, just if we get into a nice little groove, he'll look at me and we'll do that just to see what happens.
Ah, that's interesting.
If it's packed, does it overly pack? If it's dead, does it just fill up? And it usually is always like a plus.
Yeah.
Like
that's
if you
funny.
do that, you add something to whatever. If it's a medium
Right.
crowd, you get 10 more people. If it's a great crowd, you know, but it's the weirdest thing. You could be playing what you
That's-
think is just 2 thumbs
Yeah.
up, big smiles, and it's like, okay, now play it like your book said when you were 11.
Yeah.
And then and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" That's those
Yeah.
are the times when people have literally come up to us and said the dumbest compliment you can ever receive as a cover musician. You guys are literally the greatest band I've ever heard.
It's such a backhanded. I get it.
Like, and then they mean it
Yeah.
because they're drunk and they have a good time. But it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, in that moment,
You've never been to a fucking concert.
You rub the right area,
Again, you have a good time, we'll have a good time.
Yeah.
If you don't have a good time, we will stand on that stage like,
Yeah. We'll still carry on.
I'm still getting paid.
Yeah.
It'll look, but if you have fun, then we get like dumb video clips where I'm tossing drumsticks at like those guys in the Great and Destin, those little 20-year-olds. They like just want me to throw full speed drumsticks at them, like, and then they'll get, oh yeah, and then they'll be like, and I'm like, and I'll try to catch it while we're playing, it's like, and then again, like I throw it back, right, so they can do it again, like, well, you just kind of lob it back. No, they want me to throw it back to them, like they do that, like. And they're like, catch it. I'm like,
Oh my god!
it's the weirdest thing.
I mean, it's entertainment. It's showmanship. It's all those things. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's just the way it goes. I was going to tell you something about. Oh, when we saw Sarah the other night, and I was in Bay St. Louis, and and she still to this day, she still sounds good.
Yeah.
But it was funny. I was telling Heather, I was like, in my opinion, her biggest problem ever was she has no dynamics. It's loud and it's like this, and there's no dip in a verse and then come up for the chorus. There's no flow with the volume or just dynamics in general. And I was like, the other thing is she plays too much. It's like just hit a chord, hold it, and sing.
Yeah,
and just sing a line. Like, we all know you can sing.
Everybody,
you don't have to. Every word of the song doesn't have to show that you could sing. We know you can. But the hard part of it is sometimes, like, even there's some songs that she does that I really like. I want to sing along, but I can't. And that's what I try. I see people online. I've commented a couple of people's stuff like, "Hey, should have put this?" I was like, "Keep it simple," because a lot of people just want to sing with
you want to hear the song they.
I don't want to go have to take 15 years of vocal lessons just to sing along with a song with you.
Yeah. Did you see that Rick Beato video where he was talking about the death of memorable songs?
No.
He makes the case for and I'll give him credit. Like this is as far in depth of what he actually says I'll go into. He's very fair. It's not like he's a white guy not mentioning hip hop.
He's always
or
fair.
he goes to
he's always too nice.
He brings up Stevie Wonder. He brings up Nirvana. He spreads the canvas out, but he makes the case for like, and then he'll show songs from now, and it's like he's like, I think he accurately does make the case that all the songs from now, 20 years from now,
nobody's gonna be listening.
Forgettable, because there's nothing happens. What does he call it? Wait for it moments in a song. A cool guitar riff, lick, a cool like turn of phrase in the lyric, a key change, something that's like something that makes you want to listen to the song again.
I'd have to argue with him on that a little bit because, hey, there you go, losing a mic there. I agree with him to a certain extent, but then also you've got to realize that all of the most memorable songs were done in an era of the radio stations and the music business is going to shove this song down your throat because we think it's great, and you're going to get it.
Well, no, that's why he mentions that. He mentions payola.
Yeah, and
specifically,
you can't do that anymore. You can't shove a song down somebody's throat because they can just change the channel on
True.
Spotify
he specifically mentioned payola. He was like, because he talked about these like the only reason that it was on the pop charts in the first place is because back in the day payola existed, so they all are determining,
right?
The Monkees, all the bands that you were
right. Sure,
this is not nobody picked this, y'all. That's kind of how I feel. I only
So is
mentioned
it
it because
really memorable? Because if that's true, then you would remember songs from the 20s more memorably, you know.
and you remember some of them, like you know. But again, that's the point. It's
But
like
you've heard them so much on the radio or whatever else.
you know. But
You need to put yourself
I
up
just
there.
like because I hear stuff from now, and I'm like, oh. I hear stuff from now, and it's like most of the time, not all the time. There's some great music out now, but like as far as
Yeah.
pop is concerned,
But
it's
you
like,
gotta. It's
pop is different now.
I do really miss a radio though, because I like listening to a variety of things. Like I want to put it on the rock station. I just want to hear what's out there right now.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult to do. Because if I go to iTunes Music and I listen to somebody else who curated, I'm like, where do they come from? I don't like half of the crap that I listen to.
I hate that because I'm kind of new to Spotify because I never would pay for it.
Yeah.
And you know
I still
you
don't
can't
get it.
really don't get the benefit of Spotify unless you pay for it. So
Right.
I paid for it finally, and I've noticed that like all of the Spotify playlists that the computer comes up with are exactly what you're talking about. Mass net of
Just a
of
variety.
cast. Somebody's curated playlist, and you have to look because you can't tell
Yeah.
by the title. Once you get into the playlist, you're like, oh, somebody made this. Like you said, it's pigeonholed into like
Yeah.
every song says whiskey, like literally, or like it's every tune is drop D, every
Yeah.
So you're right, it is hard, but I do like Spotify for that because their algorithm will like really like. I've got at least 8 songs on the top of my like playlist from like recent stuff that was like I would have never heard that guy or that band
Yeah.
in what the normal wormhole I would travel in.
Right.
There was one
And I try sometimes on iTunes. I do the new music, and I'm just like, I'll give them like 30 seconds. I'm like, skip.
well, most of
You
them,
know.
most of them suck. But
Yeah.
.
But it's funny what just is out there, and I don't know.
Well, it's weird because
amazes
it's
me.
like most things nowadays. It is the greatest time and the worst time to be
Yeah.
alive. It's the greatest time and the worst time for music because it's like
Yeah.
think about it. You got like all this bullshit you got to put.
And some of it, like I really like, and some of it, I'm like, what? I don't. Who's listening to this? Why are they popular? Like, why do you like this?
because there's something for everybody.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
There's something for everybody.
I don't know.
Like literally at this point, like
I mean, I probably say that as a scorned musician of like, how come I didn't get famous way back when with you?
well, but
Such
that
and
but that's
such or whatever.
people
you know?
say that, but that begs the question: did you ever even want to fucking be famous?
Well, I just wanted to be a guitar player for a famous person and make that money.
Okay, well, that's not really wanting to be famous.
Yeah, that's true.
That you just wanted to be a musician, which is fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with
No.
that. You're not jaded. You've never presented as
Although,
a jaded musician.
The opportunity I probably could have had to go on the road, I would have bypassed anyway, because at that point I'd met Heather and I didn't want to do that. I missed really, because one of the best compliments I ever got was from Andrew. He built the amps and stuff.
Heaton?
Ladner.
Ladner.
He was like, Derek, you would have been great if you went to
Yeah.
like Nashville or something like that. He's
He-
like,
somewhere.
he's like, yeah, you may not be the best guitar player. He's like, there's always going to be somebody better than you. He's like, but your attitude's in the right place.
Yeah.
He's like, you'd get a lot of gigs if you could play the music and the parts. You'd get gigs all day long because
Yeah.
they're going to hire you before they hire Joe Schmo asshole. Because if you're playing with a big name person, there's no room for you to be Mr. I'm going to step out and play
It's
my
not
solo.
about you. Yeah, you are
because
not
If you do
the-
that, yeah, they're replacing you the next day, and you're on a plane home real quick. Like that's what I always found the trouble with people with Sarah is they would just like the church kids way back in the day, like Mark with the drums,
Mark and John or Mark
and the whole time it's like, yeah, it's great, you can do all that, it's amazing, but it's like just play the song.
Yeah. Now play the song.
Yeah,
Can your ADD hold on for a moment
right.
to where you could just focus on for 8 bars of groove?
Yeah,
Not one. I still tell that story to this day from the Continental. The drum off the night the drums got thrown that night.
I have little recollection of that.
I
night.
have complete.
I remember.
I have complete recollection of that night, and I tell that story to this day.
See, I do remember Noonan being there because he drove me home. I remember.
He caught the drum.
No, I thought Cloby caught the drum. He caught one of them. I
Well,
think there was more than one.
I don't know about Chloe because it was a chaotic scene, but I saw that
I
12.
wish I could take
that
with the
12
images
inch
in my mind and put them to the computer
Oh
so
my
people can
God!
see.
The 12-inch yellow, canary yellow floor tom.
Yeah, I do
12 by
remember that.
12, the tiniest little floor tom ever, flying
And it was like slow motion. I remember
through
that.
the air, and it was going to land upside down, the drum going first and the legs up, and Noonan is
before it hit the ground.
and just stopped it. I was like, oh my God. It was like, but of course, I was looking at that, so I didn't see
Yeah.
whatever explosive.
I do remember her. All the waitresses had put all the glasses on one table, and I remember her walking to the table and just flipping the table.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, ooh.
Yeah,
That
that
was-
was
That was a wild night.
that was
Because that's when she had the drummer from England there too.
that was the whole.
He was another one. He's actually touring all over the
Petey.
place. Yeah.
Petey was there. Mark was there.
But he was another guy. Like when we played live, like he played the parts, but there was still a groove that just wasn't
Yeah.
there. You know.
Yeah, it was a
a good drummer,
that was a
but-
fun night. That was
I'm happy. Who else was there?
Everybody. Clubby was there. Noonan was there. I was there. Who else would have been there at the time?
I don't know.
Who hung out in those? You know,
Pat wasn't there, was he?
no, Pat
He
wasn't there.
played with us at some point over there.
No, the only two drummers that were there were Mark and John because that's what spurred the whole thing. The whole thing was started from Petey was playing and did a cool fill, and then they switched the next song. Mark got on there, and Mark did that fucking pissing contest shit, and then it just became
And what did Sarah play the drums at some point?
something like that, and then it spilled out into the front of the bar.
What had
and-
started? Well, what caused the scene was boy back then at 2:00.
what was his name?
The bar had to empty. Eric.
What-
was his
Eric.
name.
Eric.
The bar had to empty out.
The bar
because-
owner / boyfriend.
Yeah, everything had to empty out because it was a law.
The law,
It
yeah.
shut down. So it was 2:15 or whatever it was,
Oh, and they were
and she was in her groove.
Yeah.
and he's like he's trying to unplug shit, and he's like telling her, "You got to stop. You got to stop. We got to get these people out of here." And
Yeah.
she got pissed off at him because like, how dare you interrupt what I'm doing creatively up here or whatever it was, and then she lost her lunch, and
it was
that
so
funny.
bad. It was so bad. It was. I'll say this off air. All right. Just remember, if this sucks, nobody watches it anyway. We are sponsored by Ariat Work Gear, and
Bronco
that's right, Bronco, Ford, and Ariat.
apparel anyway.
If you don't like what you hear, just
Yeah,
remember.
thanks for watching, Rachel.
Yeah.
See you on the next one.
All right,
This
guys.
podcast is free.
Bye.
That podcast was free. Now it is the end. That podcast was free. You can go watch it again. That podcast was free. Time to take our leave. We can't wait to see you back